Hello and welcome to another My Music with me, Graham Coath, and someone very saintly who is sitting in the studio opposite me to my right here, although actually they're in a completely different part of the world. Martin Saint, who has appeared on this program once before. We will be back to talk about his absolute epic new album, which I've been very fortunate to listen to over the last few days, straight after this.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
And I'll have milk, no sugar, please. I hear you pouring away in the background. Is it tea, coffee, beer, or something stronger?
Well, there's no such thing as a Fifth Amendment here in Canada, but there should be.
Yeah. Okay.
That's I guess that's the European side of me, I guess, like in North America and Montreal and so on. So we enjoy a bit of wine, but it's just like I disguise it in like coffee mugs so I don't look too much like a resident drunk,
Well, there you go.
That's all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. Glad we got that sorted. Right. My first question for you, and it's a big one straight out of the box, is who's hurt you, Martin?
Who's hurt me?
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. That is, I suppose, isn't that prophetic? Like the album is that wow? That's I didn't expect that one, but I enjoy it. Well, I mean, it's I'm a bit baffled by this because this is very it's very perceptive of you because you don't know any of the backstory, you don't know anything at all, but
but it comes across in the music.
Oh,
right?
Does it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, but what's very interesting is that when in the course of the album, it's like it's written over a short amount of time, and like I always try to be perceptive. I always try to be a bit of like a sponge, being constantly alert to what's going on, and as you probably read in the liner notes that I'm also very much into mindfulness and Buddhism and that sort of thing, like full consciousness and that sort of thing. So I suppose, and not that I pretend to be any brilliant prophet or anything like that, God knows, that's not, that I don't have a presumption, but it's just like, let me put it this way, I'm very sensitive to certain things that are not necessarily apparent to the naked eye as they occur. And then when and then I realized, like, listening back and rereading the lyrics, that a lot of things sort of became more apparent as time went by later on in life, subsequent events, things that I've noticed around me. And that's why I would venture to say, as it's by far my most personal album ever. Like, and that includes with the Amber Glows, that includes any other band project I've ever been involved in, to the point it scares me. I wouldn't even tell, not that I have any wisdom to impart on anybody, God forbid. But if someone asked me, do you have any advice? All I would say is that, yes, I do have one. Be careful what you write.
Right.
Yeah, be careful what you write, because you never know. If you pay like significant amount of attention and care to lyrics, sometimes it is what you project can be a little scary. Do I sound a little too esoteric here? I don't know.
No, not at all. I'm enjoying listening to the answer to my question.
Yeah, and so like then like the album, like if I listened to one song and then another and then another, and then I realized there's like multiple common threads that tied them together, that it wasn't intentional. And to me, that's the beauty of it. It's just letting things happen naturally, that and then this is quite revealing. And and hopefully then other people can feel how genuine it is, and it can sort of reflect something in their own lives. And that's the reason I do music, really.
Yeah. So my question came from the fact that I sat and I listened to it, and whilst I sat and listened to it, I read the lyrics, and there was several things that occurred to me. It occurred to me that this was very personal.
Hmm.
It occurred to me that this could only be written by someone at a certain time of life as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
There's definitely both actual relationships in this, but actually a relationship with yourself in this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're asking yourself questions in this a lot.
Yeah, I think so. Without ever presuming to know any single answer at all.
No. Did you get any answers out of it?
Oh my God! Like if I had any like single answer to any of this, I'd probably like be like a guru somewhere. I'd be very, very rich. Like
You'd have written the book to go with it, and
yeah, yeah. Like I'd have a mansion somewhere or a peak of a mountain and have like
yeah,
people worship me. Like that's that's far from it. Instead I live like in one room apartment. You know, in the city. So, the whole sect thing, guru, like, nah, not quite.
no. So I actually listening to it, there were elements where I was actually drawn to going, wow, this is musically, this is almost like your disintegration.
I see. Like, you mean like The Cure? You're referring to Cure. Yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, that you've got like these like building layers with guitars, and you've got your big sort of stabby drums that like sometimes quite dissonant at times, and that's the dog in the background, the only one that can hear him. We can't really help him. He just has to appear when he appears. It's good.
Can I sample the dog and use him on another record?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This can be a field recording for you. Yeah, no, absolutely. I did that years ago, actually.
Pink Floyd did that too. Seamus.
I'm going to stop and sort of just tell a side story for a minute. Years ago, we recorded round at my friend Andre's house, who had a fantastic recording studio because his dad was a multi-millionaire. It was brilliant. And we laid down this track, and it was drums and a piano and a sax, right? And and a it was drums, piano, sax, and a dog, right? Because because of the way that we recorded the piano, literally with mics just hung off the top of the piano and whatever, there was a skylight, and this dog just started howling in the middle of it, and we left it all in, and it sounded tremendous. There you go.
Do you remember well, there was a Pink Floyd, I don't know if you're a Pink Floyd fan at all, but on the album Metal, there's that song called Seamus, and apparently there's a specific breed of dog, and I can't recall what it is, but apparently that dog responds to the sound of harmonica. And in that song, it's kind of a blues, like guitar, acoustic guitar and harmonica. And then you see the dog is just wailing away and in tune. It's just like basically answering what their harmonica is doing. It's quite something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm gonna reference two Cure albums. So I think in parts it sounds very much like the kind of build of Disintegration, but very much your stamp, and it's much more bluesy than that in other parts as well. But lyrically, it's quite like the new Cure album in that there is a kind of reflection on age.
Right. I can see. Yeah, it's well, you know what I like? It's something that I quite pride myself in, if I must say, with like each of my releases. I always find that, that includes you and then whoever else I speak with, that I get compared to a lot of very different things, which means that it's not just one single thing in particular, like that's pigeonholed and it's like that's what it is, period, right? And to be honest with you, when it comes to The Cure, I like old Cure, and I respect the songwriting, but I've never been into the voice that much. And as far as the newer material, I don't really know it at all. So when you say something like that to me, I see it. Okay, that's fine. It's just like it just goes to show that I didn't go, you know, dig into that well. In particular, it's just like that's the way it comes across accidentally.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I don't mind telling you where I went and drew some stuff from. Like, I was very much to the Nick Cave, The Mission, lyrically Leonard Cohen, which I'm greatly indebted, because I want the lyrics to stand apart from the music. In other words, even if you told me like the music doesn't do it for me, like it's not my thing, but you enjoy the lyrics and you can read them as stand apart poetry, I'd still be happy.
I get that. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. There's a definite. You could publish this as a set of a poetry book.
That's what I'm trying to. Actually, it's my project. You sort of like beat me to the curb now, like because like that's really like one of my projects that I'm working on as we speak.
And what do you put the two together, or do you keep the two separate, or?
Yeah. Well, what I tend to do is like sort of a lyric manuscript, putting my best bits together, and I started writing some haikus that I want to use with experimental music and recite. And believe it or not, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's not something I say too loud usually. But what the hell, I'm in public now, I'll say it. But in 2019, excuse me, I underwent this most pompous exercise like of my whole career. The most pompous thing I've ever done. You either love it or you absolutely loathe it. I mean, I did a spoken word album with experimental music in the background, like sort of weird stuff, just to sort of segue into it, and I sort of narrate my baritone rumblings on top, with stories and vignettes. So the reason I mention this is just that yes, like I value the written part, the lyric part as much as the music itself. And in this album, Seekers, I mean, I gotta say, I'm very happy with like how coherent it is. Like from one song to song, everything is different, but I feel that there's a certain sense of unity.
Is that where, right? So when we come to the artwork for this, and you've got a globe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where the globe comes in? Is that the unifying bit? Is it? Are you? Yeah. Are you?
Well, it's a very interesting question too, because I was even reflecting on that lately, and I'm not even quite sure why, but as soon as I had the idea, I knew it felt right. And
Yeah.
I'm a very instinctive person. I never pretend to be the smartest person in the world when it comes to like analyzing things and so on and logic, but I have pretty good instincts generally, and it felt right. It felt me, and it can mean it's open ended. It can mean so many things. It could be carrying the world on your shoulder, on your back. You could be a seeker, a world traveler looking for spiritual enlightenment. You're like openness to the world. The cosmic, the cosmos, the universe, and a constant quest, feeling so small. Is so big yet so small. And then there's like the traveler, and then again there's something a little absurd. I mean, who sits down at 6 a.m. in the middle of the street holding holding a globe, carrying a globe? Well, so I kind of like the imagery of it.
Yeah. Is there very much a sort of image of its time in that as well, because the world is so much smaller now?
Yeah, absolutely. And yet us as individuals, how insignificant are we? I mean, if we just borrow this, we just borrow this world, we just borrow the towns, we borrow the sidewalks that we live on, because when you think about it, whatever city you live in, we're here for a number period of time, and even a couple of decades later, sometimes you go, "Hey, that's not the way it was 10 years ago. That's not the way. That's not the way it looked. Now it's changed so much. I don't even recognize my own home." And now it's a new influx of people, younger or from elsewhere, and it's their home now in the sense because that's what they know. And then you say, "I remember that theater in 1944 was built." Like, but that's just not the way it is now. So in the sense, we're just passersby. We're just in something bigger. And in fact, there's a line in one of my songs there, like, um, "Will I? The world was always here with all its ancient laws. Will I leave it just the same as it ever was?" That's in "Take This Offering." I'm quoting myself because I remember, but
Yeah. Do we ever leave the world as it? Well, do you know what? The world is more robust than
yeah,
than we, in a way, kind of give it credit for. I know. Yes, we are damaging the world. Yes, we are. Yeah, we need to take responsibility for the world, but I think sometimes we overestimate our own importance in the
oh,
world as well.
absolutely. Very ethnocentric, anthropocentric, uh, in so many ways. Uh, yes, like we hold it. Oh, Graham. Oh, we
Yeah,
disappeared
sorry,
for a
we
sec.
lost. Yeah, we lost you for a bit.
Okay, I lost you too. All right. So, yeah. So, I was just going to say that, yeah, this is it. I mean, but at the same time, what I meant by this phrase is more that, we're such insignificant little specks of sand in the whole scheme of things, that we don't really reinvent anything, and the laws of the universe are so much more powerful than we are, and we're just again, we're just passing through. And I guess, like, this album, like, this comes across, and that's why, like, I always enjoy discussing this after the fact, because if you'd asked me all these questions as I was producing it, probably I wouldn't have known what to tell you.
You wouldn't know what the finished thing is. It was interesting. You came in just while I was interviewing the previous person who's going to be the previous person to you on the podcast when this goes out in sequential order. Now it's interesting because he said something, and you'll probably enjoy watching that episode as well.
Sure.
But he said something which was quite profound. I'm going to tell you what he said, and then I want you to talk to me about how that relates to you and this record as well. He said, musicians, he said, here's a warning to any young musicians out there: don't get into music unless you're prepared to have your heart broken. And what he meant by that was not by people, but by music itself.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is, it's at the same time, it's a blessing and a curse. Because the thing is, what gives you a certain awareness, a sort of, like, if I may use the word, a certain gift, like a certain sense of perception and drive. At the same, it's a bit like what Nick Cave said as well: "To love is to grieve." I mean, there's there's no way to escape that. So yes, I mean, at the same time, like, I hope it ties into what the previous guest was saying too, because the thing is, let's just say I wanted to write a song very quickly, and I just go and dump lyrics on top because I need words to go with the tune. So I could use I could use my my rhyming dictionary, and just use just like one cliche after another, very predictable, right? But I'm not investing much of myself into that. Okay, but if you're really willing to go to that place where you're vulnerable, that place that hurts, I mean, that's another ball game. Like, this is when he's right. I mean, eventually you are going to suffer.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. I mean, if you really, and I mean, it's not to just like go for the hoax of the cliche of the starving like artist and suffering and so on. Yet there's a certain truth to it. Are you familiar with the doctor, the psychotherapist? I think it was Dr. Gabor Mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was saying something very brilliant on that. He was like, how if it's normal, even as a child, if you're more perceptive, more susceptible to like sensitive, therefore you're going to be more in tune with certain things. You're going to find a way to express things that is like all the more accurate, all the more relatable. But the the flip side of that is the price that it's also going to hurt you a lot more.
So this is your love album, but your hurt album, all wrapped up in one as well.
I don't, you know what? It's funny. I never even thought of it that way. But now you put it, but because the thing is, once it's out there, it doesn't belong to me anymore. And it's if you see it that way, then it's as valid as any. It's just, but because the thing is, what I'll give you is that there's a strong sense of intimacy. It's a very intimate album, and it's very spiritual too,
It
and
is.
in many ways,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I tell you what you definitely do here on this album, and I hope this intrigues people to go and listen to it. Is you hear you in this album, right? And
yes,
what I mean by that is, do you know, like so many songs these days, you hear singing,
yeah,
right? You hear a performance, right? But you actually hear you on this
yeah,
album. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Wow. I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm making confidence here, as opposed, like I'm gonna break down every machismo, like rock singer rule here, but there's a song I was in studio and I almost broke down, you know, like while singing. It was like, what is this? I'm a pro. I can't do this. And then I had to come up with a fake excuse to the sound engineer. Say, oh, I have a problem with my throat. I can do this. Like, I'll do the line. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Seen the
But
Bears game tonight.
yeah. I had to like smoke too many Marlboros the night before. Like, but in fact, I was just like, it was just too intense. But I couldn't let on. Now the whole world knows. But uh, and it's also, I mean, I don't mean to take this down to a downward spiral, but since we're talking about like deep things, and this is like actually I feel very serene with this, but let me tell you that the song Airwaves, the opener.
Hmm.
This there's something uncanny about this one in particular, because you know how it's about how each sense ties into how we store memory. And then at one point, there's there's a line that says, if not long for this world, let me touch your hand. Right. I wrote this late 2022, something like that.
Okay.
Believe right. Believe it or not, 2 years later, a friend of mine ends up tragically ill all of a sudden, and we held hands on her deathbed. That is thing that really threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But
You
what?
don't
Yeah.
you don't want to feel prophetic
Mm.
sometimes. No way.
Yeah. So from now on, I'm only like from next album. Here's a scoop. I'm gonna write about June, the moon, and the spoon, and like stupid things like write see a sign on the street and say, you know, Hallmark lyrics, and that's it. I need an emotional break.
Yeah.
And and like also there's tons of examples in the in the in that album. Also, how the songs like overlap. I mean, I could go on all day. I mean, like, even a song like like uh, "Cold Turkey Sweats That Glue Me to My Bed." I mean, that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nothing to glorify here, but I speak from experience.
Right.
So, what can I say?
It also feels like a very complete album in the I don't think you'd want to I think it would be doing it a disjustice to not listen to this album in a sitting. I just don't feel it's like
Thank you.
it. You have to sit there and immerse yourself in the journey.
It is a bit of I'm glad to see it that way, because there is there is that sense of like a journey. Well, also the name Seekers, which again, that the title came very fast. I just knew I liked the word, and I liked that it felt right, and there's a very strong sense of seeking for something. What I don't know, and I'll never know. Well, most likely, but it was just, again, it was taken from one of the lines, because I remember like waiting for the moon. Like if you like the Mission, the Sisters of Mercy, that was like straight out. I wanted to do something for the dance floor circa 1986. Everybody dressed in black with a K's, white makeup, everything. And
sing this Corrosion to me.
Yeah, but you got to sing it like this,
Yeah. Hey now, no.
So that's what kind of that's what the song was supposed to be. And the thing was, I realized that this relationship with the sun that we have, like it's very like it's nature, that there's some very pagan, sort of pagan anthem in a sense. And I've been in situations in my life where I'm having like an absolutely miserable time, yet it's beautiful sunlight outside, and the contrast makes it all the more cruel. You see them in the contrast between your inner state, because it all starts from within, and it's also something that keeps happening in the album as well. Like no matter if you try to become a gambler, like debilitating gambling at like Lucky 7, or like intimacy or power, like a Private Party. But in the end, it all starts like Midnight Ghost with technology, but we all end up alone in the end. So in the song "Waiting for the Moon," there's that line that was where the title of the album came about from. The cliches of the Westerners who go on a self-seeking journey to the East, to India, to China, like especially in the early 20s and so on. And it turns out that a dear friend of mine who plays in my band now, I read the line to him after and said, this really touches me, because like that's what he had done. So like the Eastern sun awaits seekers with nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
It is like, it is like a classic Western movie, isn't it? Like a classic Western movie, not like, like The Searchers.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So what do you? I remember. What were the songs you said you liked best on that album? I'm just curious to see which ones you connected with, because the album inside out now, like pretty much, if I can tell.
Which ones did I like best? Oh my God.
I don't want to put you on the spot like that. It's just like in the course of our conversation, because it changes. That's what I like. It's everybody has a single like different song, and I like that. There's something I'm quite pleased of with this result. They all have their own different moods.
Yeah, I think I like the 100 Dreams.
Oh yeah,
song. I really like that. I just like the atmosphere in that song so much.
Confession. I was trying to pull my best Jarvis Cocker in that one. I totally saw this as a Pulp song.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I was totally with the grand orchestral sort of
Yeah.
erotica, like Jarvis Cocker sort of like delivery thing, but in my North American way, of course,
You pulled it off. You pulled it off. It's a good time to pull it off as well because Pulp are back.
Oh yeah, I'm a massive fan, huge
So,
fan. Yeah.
so it's good. It's a good time to pull it off. This is a great album, sir. Well done.
I'm really happy you like. It took a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well done. Well done for putting this together. As I say, I think you probably do need a holiday now.
I'm kind of like I sort of have a reputation as a workaholic because the thing is I'm already halfway through pre-production of the next one.
All right.
And not for real, I'm not joking. And then also I'm doing an electronic EP as well, like which I'm halfway into.
Well, look, I think it's a great album,
Thank
and
you.
I honestly believe that it will provide a beautiful roller coaster of emotions for some listeners out there, which is great. We need more of that, in a world full of saccharine stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I love that word. Yeah.
Which and Chat GPT written lyrics.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started now because I'm gonna get angry now.
yeah. But you've done us proud, Martin. So thank you, and thank you for coming in and sharing.
Always a pleasure, Graham. It's the third time we chat, and it's been it's always a pleasure every single time.
Folks, do go and check out the album. What we're going to do is we're going to put links to the album. Hopefully when this does go out, and what we're also going to do is Martin, if you can wingle that so that we can make it happen, is at some point what we're going to do is we're going to add something from, although actually in this case I might have to just add the whole album to the My Music podcast playlist.
Sweet.
So that, because I just can't pick something off of it. Sit in abstraction, so we might just have to. You have to listen to the whole album. Sorry, folks. How about that?
Oh yeah, well, I won't object.
No, but there you go. Do go and check it out. And look, if you're touched by the album, if it moves you, if it makes you seek to think about something in your life, or change something in your life, or find an answer for something in your life, then let Martin know, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Go back to the artist and let the artist know what it's done for you.
So the best, see, these are the best compliments I ever get. Not, oh, that guitar sounded good and this and that, because trust me, I have had people I know, like different levels of friends and acquaintances who've come up, I'll say this quickly, I know you're short on time, but I have a friend telling me she could not listen to Lucky 7 because it was too intense, because it reminded her of an uncle who had a gambling problem and it touched her too much. Then I had another friend telling me she felt lonely and she liked hearing someone, like commanding voice, saying, look at me that way, because I feel I need that these days. And I had and someone telling me, oh, I felt homesick for my country and I felt a bit less lonely.
That's powerful stuff. That's powerful stuff.
You know what I mean? So that this is all, but that's the real reason I do music, not for the phony accolades,
Nobody wants to talk gain on the guitar.
Right, exactly. And I see the 500 chords for 3 people, or 3 chords for 500 people in the room. No, you have the option. Yeah,
absolutely, my friend. It's been a pleasure talking to you again, folks.
Absolutely,
it's been a wonderful Martin Saint. Do go and check out the music. We will be back soon with another My Music. Please remember, you can go and check out mymusicpodcast.com, where you can pick up on all of the previous stuff, etc., and press the buttons to like this and whatever. Let's keep this in the top 20% of content on Spotify, because basically it's the best thing on Spotify, really. And we'll be back soon with more of it. Until then, bye from us.
Cheers, Graham.